Okay, so we are going to look at 7.1, exploring equivalent trigonometric functions. So we have three types of questions in this section. So we have three examples relating those three types of questions in 7.1. So the first one, actually we already looked at this topic in chapter 6, okay, when we did the trigonometry unit. So when we look at example 1, it says write an expression that is equivalent to each of the following expressions using the related acute angle. We did such questions, if you can remember, okay, in chapter 6. So what do we do? So first we rotate the angle. So let's remember, this is 0 radian, that is pi radian, that is 2 pi radian. Okay, so you can divide each section. So the pi is divided by 8, right? So you can divide pi in 8, also the other half, and then take 9 over 8 pi. So this is 8 pi over 8. That is gonna be 9 pi over 8, right? Also, you can also think it this way, okay? So this is 0, that is 8 pi over 8, and that is 16 pi over 8. 16 pi over 8. Actually, if you look at 90 degrees, that would be 4 pi over 8, and this one would be 12 pi over 8. So just looking at these, you can kind of decide where is going to be the location of that angle. So it is a little bit over 8 pi over 8. So here you are in the third quadrant. So that is 9 pi over 8. So what is related acute angle then? So this is 9 pi over 8, and halfway is 8 pi over 8. So 9 pi over 8 minus 8 pi over 8 gives you pi over 8. So beta or related acute is pi over 8. Okay, then we are gonna write something with pi over 8, right? Sine pi over 8. But now we have to decide if they have the same sign, or one is negative, one is positive. Based on that, we are going to decide if we need to put a positive sign here or negative sign. Okay? So sine pi over 8 is an acute angle. Sine, cosine, and tangent ratio of it is always positive. So we know that this is positive. Okay? So sine 9 pi over 8. So now we are in quadrant 3. If you write cast in quadrant 3, tangent is positive, sine and cosine negative. So you know that that's going to be negative. So to make them equal, so it looks like you have to put a negative sign here. So sine pi over 8 equals negative sine 9 pi over 8 equals negative sine pi over 8. Okay, let's do B. Again, the first thing, you want to rotate the angle. Okay, so this is 0 radian. Pi, if you write it with the denominator 12, gives you 12 pi over 12. And this is 2 pi here, or 24 pi over 12. So this is pi over 2, that is 6 pi over 12. 3 pi over 2, 18 pi over 12. So 13 pi over 12, as you see, is going to be in the fourth quadrant. So that is angle theta, or 23 pi over 12. So then beta is going to be 2 pi minus theta, or 23 pi over 12, which is pi over 12 in this case. So we're going to write cosine pi over 12 here. and decide if you need to keep it as positive or make it negative. So cosine pi over 12, again, pi over 12 is an acute angle. Cosine of it is going to be positive for sure. Cosine 23 pi over 12, we are in quadrant 4. If you write cast, you know that cosine is positive in quadrant 4. So this side is also positive. Then they are equal. They are just equal. Nothing to put here. Tangent 7 pi over 6. Rotate the angle. So 0 radian. Pi becomes 6 pi over 6. 2 pi becomes 12 pi over 6. Pi over 2 becomes 3 pi over 6. 3 pi over 2 becomes 9 pi over 6. So 7 pi over 6 here. 7 pi over 6. Then beta is right here. So beta is, as you see, 7 pi over 6 minus pi, which is pi over 6. So you're gonna write tangent pi over 6 on the right side and decide afterwards if you need to keep it as positive or put a negative sign there. So tangent pi over 6 is positive. 7 pi over 6, we are in the third quadrant. Right cast. So tangent is positive in the third quadrant. So that is also positive then. Positive, positive. So we don't need to put a negative sign there. So they are equal. Okay, this is first type of questions. Okay, so you can relate to this. Second type of questions are going to be about co-function identities. You haven't learned this before. So let's look at one. Okay, so it says write an expression that is equivalent to each of the following expressions. So we have sine 30, and actually we have also the triangle for 30, 60, 90 degree triangle. Okay, this is just a special triangle. So sine 30 is what? Opposite over hypotenuse, which is 1 over 2. Okay, cosine of what angle gives you 1 over 2? Cosine of 60 degree is adjacent over hypotenuse, also 1 over 2. So then sine 30 actually is same as cosine 60. Let's look at B. We have cosine 23. Well, what is cosine 23? Adjacent over hypotenuse. So 12 over 13. Sine of what angle gives you 12 over 13? Opposite over hypotenuse. So looks like sine 67. Okay, so let's look at C. Tangent 53, 53 is here, opposite over adjacent, 4 over 3. Cotangent of what angle gives you 4 over 3? If tangent is opposite over adjacent, cotangent is adjacent over opposite. So looks like cotangent 37 is 4 over 3. So cotangent 37. Now I want you to look at these angles, sine and cosine. So the angles 30 and 60 here, cosine and sine, 23 and 67. So what is special about those two angles? They equal 90 degree, right? So then, even without having the triangles, we can apply that knowledge, and then let's say here sine 20 equals cosine 70. You subtract this 20 from 90. How about cosine 72 equals sine 18. Okay, now let's do some radians. Tangent pi over 3 equals cotangent pi over. So basically what do we do? So these two are equal, right? Add up to 90. Then this and whatever we put here should add up to 90 or pi over 2. So I need to kind of subtract pi over 3 from pi over 2.
Yeah,
Pi over 6. Yes. And remember, pi over 3 is 60, pi over 6 is 30 degree. When you add up, you get 90. Okay, next one. Sine pi over 6 then equals pi over 3. So you subtract pi over 6 from pi over 2. Pi over 3. Next one. Cosine 3 pi over 8 equals sine of. So again, you subtract it from pi over 2. You get 4 pi over 8, 1 pi over 8. Tangent 5 pi over 12 equals cotangent. Yeah, so you subtract it from 5 pi over 12, so pi over 2, you get, yes, pi over 12. Okay, now let's write general statements. So then sine theta equals cosine 90 minus theta or with the radians pi over 2 minus theta. How about same thing with cosine, right? It goes both ways. So cosine theta equals sine 90 minus theta or pi over 2 minus theta. Tangent, same thing, cotangent 90 minus theta or pi over 2 minus theta. It is not written here, but let's discuss secant and cosecant. Same idea, okay? Secant theta equals cosecant 90 minus theta or pi over 2 minus cosecant pi over 2 minus theta. So these are called cofunction identities. So that was the second type of questions in 7.1, and last type is like this, okay? Equivalent trigonometric expressions involving related angles. You can identify equivalent trigonometric expressions by comparing principal angles drawn in standard position in quadrants 2, 3, and 4 with their related acute angle theta in quadrant 1. Well, until now, in chapter 6, we always took theta as principal angle and related acute we use beta, right? But actually for here in this section they took theta, okay, and then used it for related acute angle. So whenever you see theta here, actually you should be thinking of beta, which is related acute angle, okay? So it may be confusing, but you should be fine, okay? So let's draw these. So again, so theta is an acute angle in quadrant 1. Then pi minus theta, so theta is in quadrant 1. Okay. Then pi minus theta is going to be in quadrant 2, right? So if that is theta, which is related acute, then this angle, principal angle, is going to be pi minus theta, obviously. Then now you're going to compare sine of this angle with sine of this angle, right? Sine of pi minus theta with sine of theta. So sine of pi minus theta. Okay, so you're writing the cast. Okay, so you know that sine of theta or sine of any angle in the first quadrant is positive, right? So all are positive here, all positive. In the second quadrant, sine of this angle is going to be positive as well. So therefore sine pi minus theta equals sine theta. Okay, but if you look at the cosine of this pi minus theta, cosine in the second quadrant is negative, so therefore, so this is negative, cos theta is positive. To make them equal, remember, you multiply it by negative sign. So how about tangent? You know that tangent theta is positive, okay, but here in the second quadrant tangent is negative, so tangent here is negative. So this tangent is positive, tangent pi minus theta is negative. To make them equal, there's a negative sign there. So these two are equal expressions. So let's look at here. Okay, so this time we are going to sketch pi plus theta. Pi plus theta. Okay, and again the related acute is not beta, but we're just going to say it is theta. Alright, here let's write cast. So you're comparing sine, cosine and tangent of this angle in the quadrant 3 with sine, cosine and tangent of this angle in quadrant 1. So these are all positive, and as you see, only tangent is positive in the quadrant 3. Only tangent is positive, so that is equal to tangent theta, but sine and cosine are negative, as you see. So the last one, 2 pi minus theta. If you sketch that angle, that is 2 pi minus theta, and that is angle theta. So write the cast. As you see, only cosine is positive, sine and tangent are negative. Sine and tangent are negative, as you see, cosine is positive. Because see, sine theta, cos theta, tangent theta are positive, so these are multiplied by negative sign here and there. Okay, so based on that, so we have this kind of question. State whether each of the following are true or false. True or false. Okay, so basically we're going to check the sign of left side and sign of right side, and we are going to check if it is equal. Okay, so the first one, sine theta minus 2 pi equals sine theta. So we know that sine theta is positive. How about theta minus 2 pi? Theta minus 2, it is not 2 pi minus theta, but theta minus 2 pi. So this should remind you something. When you add or subtract multiples of 2 pi from the angle or add to the angle, so you get coterminal angles, right? And all the coterminal angles have the same trigonometric ratios. So this angle then, right, theta, but you kind of subtract, right, this is gonna, let's say if this is theta, theta minus 2 pi is gonna be also on the same, it's gonna also have the same terminal arm. Okay, theta and theta minus 2 pi. So then you are still in the first quadrant. Okay, for theta minus 2 pi. Therefore, this is also positive. So looks like this is done good. What do you say about B? Is this true? Sine 2 pi minus theta equals sine theta. No? Yes? False. Yeah, this is positive. 2 pi minus theta in the, if you sketch it, it's in the fourth quadrant. Fourth quadrant, only cosine is positive. So that's then sine must be negative. So they are not equal. So that is false. Next one. Is this correct? Yeah? So when you are comparing the signs, that's what you should do. Cos theta, you know that is positive because we consider theta as an acute angle. Okay, that's multiplied by negative sign. And then cosine pi minus theta in the second quadrant. And cosine is negative there. So left side negative, right side is also negative. So true. Next one. True, false?
True.
False, true. I hear both. Okay. So cover the negative sign. Sine theta is positive. It's multiplied by negative sign. Sine pi minus theta in the second quadrant. Sine is positive. False.
It's the same thing on the chart.
Yeah, I know, but I want you. So without the chart, how would you answer those questions? Okay? Because you should be able to answer without the chart. Now you see it there. Tangent pi plus theta. Again, so you sketch it. It is in the third quadrant. So tangent is positive here. This is also positive. So it looks like this is true. Next one. True, false? True, because theta and theta plus 6 pi, they are again coterminal angles, right? 6 pi is multiple of 2 pi. It is related to theta. So these two are coterminal angles and they have the same cosine value. True. Next one. That's the most tricky one. What is it? True, false? False? True? True? Okay, I hear what? Let's do this. So, yeah, I know. Most of the time, this is what the students think, but we can't do that. Okay? We cannot take anything from inside and move it outside. So you should never think, oh, negative times negative gives me positive. Done. No, it doesn't work that way. Okay? This is what you do. So first of all, left side is cos theta. We know that it is positive. So then we cover the negative sign in front of the cos negative theta. Sketch cos negative theta, sorry. So you sketch it. Okay? Negative theta is here. Then we are in the fourth quadrant. In fourth quadrant, cosine is positive. So this is positive. But that is multiplied by negative sign. So it looks like right side is negative. So therefore it is false. The last one, cotangent, you should think in terms of tangent. Okay? So tangent theta is positive. Cotangent theta plus pi. So in the third quadrant, tangent is positive here too. So positive, positive. This is true.